auflegen, mich auf die Tanzfläche bewegen und nun geht es los.
You are listening to Däs Bündesliga Show here on the Lock Betting Podcast. You can follow Lock Betting on X at Lock Betting X. That's at Lock Betting X. The pin tweet on that account is always the profit and loss spreadsheet from the previous month. I've been a little bit slow at the moment, swapping the month of October for the month of November because it's just been non-stop. Card after card after card after card after card. I will get a little bit of a break after the Champions League. So just let me handicap Matchday 6 and I will swap the spreadsheets over. The month of November was the 126th month in a row of transparent track profit. Looked touch and go for a little while, but we just absolutely blitzed at the end of the month. And this month is absolutely no doubt going to be month number 127. We have Champions League futures to be added and they're looking very good. And we've had a blistering start to the month. Been absolutely annihilating the NFL. So if you're not on the all sports package, the ultimate package, it's well worth upgrading for the NFL. You can just have a look at what we've done in the last 2 weeks. We can ask me to send you the cards. And we've been killing it in soccer as well. A 4-0 sweep yesterday, which included 3 one-unit plays from those that 4-0 sweep. So just unbelievable across the board at the moment. If you want to upgrade, just head over to lockbetting.com or shoot me a message to have a discussion or to get more information about the other packages. So let's move on with this edition of Däs Bündesliga Show. We're not going to cover too many games here. I want to spend more time talking about the game of the week, which is Borussia Dortmund at home to RB Leipzig. And you would even argue that might not even be the game of the week this time around, because you could make a case for Stuttgart versus Bayer Leverküsen. Looking at league positions, looking at what's at stake there, that could actually be the game of the week on paper. But historically, because of what they've done in previous years and have been the two closest contenders to Bayern, not that Bayern have really had a contender, but if there were to be two, it would be these two. With Dortmund coming so close to winning the league last season, I think that Dortmund and Leipzig edges it out. So before we get there, as I said, we're not going to cover as many games as per usual. We'll start the show by looking at the game here between Eintracht Frankfurt and Bayern Munich, where Bayern Munich here are the 2-7 favourites. It's 21-4 on the draw, and it's 9-1 here on Eintracht Frankfurt. I'm not sure Frankfurt are necessarily regressing, but they're certainly not in the conversation for the top 4. That would have been the trajectory that people were expecting a few years back. They thought Frankfurt could kick on and potentially get themselves into that top 4 mix. Instead, that team is Bayer Leverküsen. Bayer Leverküsen are the team who have kicked on, and Frankfurt's league position this season tells you that they haven't. They're currently sitting in 7th position. Their supporters would probably want them being a couple of places higher. They are now 8 points away from the top 4 and are a whopping 17 points behind Bayer Leverkusen, the early pace setters in the league. As for this game, I can't see it going any other way other than Bayern picking up the win. Frankfurt haven't lost in any of their last 4, but they have no wins in their last 5. So they've been drawing a lot of games. But those teams are not Bayern Munich. So Bayern Munich, they should be able to pick up the win here. They themselves have had no losses in any of their last 5. Frankfurt have had no clean sheets in any of their last 5, with over 2.5 goals cashing in 4 of the last 5 and over 2.5 goals cashing in 7 of Bayern Munich's last 9. Both teams have scored in 4 of Frankfurt's last 5 games, but they have been the first to concede in 5 straight games. And if they go behind against Bayern Munich, they will be in trouble. And that could happen. Bayern Munich have scored first in 7 of the last 8 meetings with Frankfurt. 8 of the last 10 head-to-heads have seen BTTS cash. 8 of the last 10 head-to-heads have seen over 2.5 goals. But 18 straight head-to-heads have seen Frankfurt failing to keep a clean sheet here against this Bayern team. So I think once Bayern Munich get the breakthrough, they could stroll to a routine victory. They don't have to look ahead to the Champions League because they're already through. So their priority will be getting the job done here in this game. I'm going to take Bayern Munich to win, and I'm going to tack on over 2.5 goals here. And we take the selection at the price of 3 to 4. I think that's a solid price. I can't see there being less than 3 goals here. And I certainly can't see anything other than a Bayern Munich win. Up next, we'll move on to the game that we talked about at the start of the show. It is Borussia Dortmund at home to RB Leipzig, where Dortmund are a 2-1 home underdog. And that's why I want to spend more time on this. It's 14-5 on the draw, and Leipzig come here as a 5-4 favourite. I don't get the pricing. It doesn't make any sense to me. Borussia Dortmund are a team who could qualify from a very, very difficult Champions League group. Borussia Dortmund, their league position at the moment of 5th, isn't a position that cuts them adrift from the others. It may sound like it's been a suspect start to the season, but they are 10 points away from Leverküsen, but Leverkusen have been an absolute machine. They are 7 points behind Bayern, but nothing's new there. They're 5 points behind Stuttgart, who are third, and 1 point behind RB Leipzig. Their +6 goal difference after 13 games will be concerning when you look at teams like Stuttgart and Leipzig, who are +18. Bayern Munich are +34, and Leverkusen are +27. So they haven't been massively impressive in that department. And that's largely down to their away form. But at home, they've been an absolute machine once again. Last season, they didn't lose any home games. They were unbeaten all the way from August to the end. And this season, they've only lost to Bayern Munich. They've lost 1 of their 10 competitive home games this season, which was against Bayern Munich. And they've won 4 of the last 5. RB Leipzig, they don't travel well. They have lost 4 of the last 5 competitive away games. So I don't see why they come to Borussia Dortmund here as a favourite. Borussia Dortmund have kept a clean sheet in 5 of their 7 home wins this season. 4 of them have been with 1-0 scorelines, which is not really what you associate with Borussia Dortmund. But this is a different type of Borussia Dortmund side. While Leipzig, I still think they're struggling to cope with the loss of several key players. You've lost Szoboszlai, you've lost Gardviel, you've lost Christopher Nkunku. These are key players that are going to affect any team. Leipzig have lost to nil in 2 of their last 5 road games. And it's not strong data, but it is odd when Leipzig aren't scoring goals in 90% of their games. And that data tells you that they aren't scoring in all of their away games. They've lost 4 of the last 5 away games. So away games is where they struggle. And home games is where Borussia Dortmund absolutely thrive. They took points off Bundesliga leaders Bayer Leverküsen last weekend, and I think they can definitely get a positive result here. Yes, the domestic campaign has been disappointing to be sitting in 5th place, getting knocked out of the DFB Pokal in midweek to Stuttgart. That's disappointing as well. But they are coming home here and at Signal and Iduna Park, undefeated all through last season, 1 defeat to Bayern Munich in 10 competitive games this season, winning 4 of the last 5 and getting them here as an underdog really doesn't make sense. So we're going to take Borussia Dortmund in the draw and a bet market, Borussia Dortmund as a pick. We have push protection here with this selection. Pushes, if it's a draw, you get your money back. But as a win, if Dortmund do get the win, we are getting them here at 11 to 10 and looking at a +110 payout. So £210 back, 110 of that profit off a £100 bet and your money back if it's a draw. You only lose if Leipzig win here as a favourite, and a favourite that I don't think they should be. So Borussia Dortmund as a pick is my selection here for this one. Up next, we move on to that game on Sunday between Stuttgart and Bayer Leverküsen, where Bayer Leverkusen are the 5-4 favourites, just like Leipzig are. It's 11-4 on the draw, and just like Dortmund, Stuttgart are the 2-1 home underdogs. This one makes a little bit more sense because Leverkusen are just a machine at the moment, and they should be favourites here against Stuttgart. But Stuttgart are definitely a live dog. This is a difficult place to go to. Borussia Dortmund found that out in midweek. And for that reason, it's difficult for me to pick a winner here because I don't think Leverkusen are going to win the title. I do think they're going to regress at some point and drop some points. And this could definitely be a spot. So I think goals is the way I'm going to go here with this game. Stuttgart come in with 5 straight wins, but Leverkusen come into this one with 24 games unbeaten, no losses in any of the last 24. Interestingly, 5 of the last 7 games involving Stuttgart have actually gone under 2.5 goals. It's not really what you'd expect from them. The first goal in this game could be key, which Stuttgart have gotten 4 of the last 5, and Leverkusen have got 9 of the last 10. They've scored first in 9 of the last 10. They've also won the first half in 8 of the last 10. So I would think they would be the team most likely to get off to a fast start. But I'm just going to go with the goals here. Hopefully somebody can get one in the first half, which puts us in a good position to cash the over. Both teams have scored in this fixture in 6 of the last 7 meetings. Stuttgart haven't kept a clean sheet in it in any of the last 9, and Leverkusen have definitely had the better of it, going undefeated in 9 straight games here against Stuttgart. So while I'm not too interested in picking the winner here, I am interested in the goals. BTTS is a little bit too juiced for me here at the price of 1 to 2 minus 200. But we are getting a decent price on the over. 8 to 13 is short, but this would be way shorter. It would be worse than minus 200 if Stuttgart hadn't cashed the under in 5 of their last 7. I think that's a very odd stat. It's not in line with the way Stuttgart play football. It's certainly not in line with the way Leverkusen play football. Leverkusen is certainly the team to sort of put a dent in that trend. And I think over 2.5 goals is the way to go here for this one between Stuttgart and Bayer Leverkusen. For the final game, we look at a game here between Cologne and Mons, the late game on Sunday, where Cologne are the 7-5 favourites, 12-5 on the draw. And Mons here are a 2-1 underdog. Obviously, this doesn't feel as relevant as some of the other stuff we've covered here on this show, because all the other 3 games have a significant bearing at the top of the table. But I still think we have a solid lean here on this game, and as I think both teams will score, and BTTS is available at 45 minus 125. This offers up some value because Cologne are yet to keep a clean sheet at home this season, and they've managed just 1 clean sheet all season in the Bundesliga on the whole. The visitors have also seen both teams score in 71% of their away games, including in 4 of the last 5. So seeing that data and seeing 45 minus 125 definitely meant this had to be included on the show. We close out with BTTS in that game here between Cologne and Mons. Closing out with your lock on the show, we take something for plus money here. We're going to take Borussia Dortmund as a pick. Borussia Dortmund in the draw no bet market at the price of 11 to 10 plus 110. As I said, money back if this is a draw. So we've protected ourselves from this being a draw. And you only lose money here if Leipzig win. But Leipzig, I don't think should be the favourite. They're not significantly better than Dortmund. I would probably say they're not better than Dortmund at all. Yet they come here as a 5-4 favourite. Their away record isn't a good one. And Borussia Dortmund's home record is a very strong one. Leipzig have lost 4 of the last 5 competitive away games. And Borussia Dortmund have only lost 1 of 10 competitive home games this season, and they've won 4 of the last 5 as well. Their only defeat came to Bayern Munich, and last season they're an absolute machine at home, going undefeated at home in the Bundesliga throughout the entire season. So this is an easy selection for me, which is why I've spent so much time talking about it. Your lock here is Borussia Dortmund in the draw no bet market. That's it for me. Good luck with all of your bets as always, guys, and thanks for listening.